Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you again for joining us for our virtual town hall. I hope you and your family are safe and healthy during this very difficult time. We will get through this together. And again, thank you for joining us for this weekly virtual town hall. And today we're going to talk about how COVID-19 has impacted veteran services in Texas's 23rd Congressional District throughout South and West Texas. As you know, I'm an Air Force veteran. I grew up here in San Antonio. And on a personal note, I get my own care through the VA, and I've seen that impacted as a result of what's going on now. And I'm actually doing some telehealth myself with the VA, so I can empathize with some of you that are going through the exact same thing. As you know, we also have veteran services officers throughout Texas. And so we've brought on two today. We've got Mr. Efren Montelongo, which is a veteran service officer out of El Paso County, as well as Mr. Lalo Hernandez, who serves as the VSO in Uvalde County. Again, there's a VSO in all 254 counties. Some of them, pull double duty like Efren does, as he serves also Hudspeth County and Culberson County. And the intent with today's discussion is really to answer the questions that you all have submitted about how veteran services have been impacted during this time. So Efren served in the Navy for 5.5 years, and Mr. Lalo Hernandez served in the Marine Corps for over 4 years, and then finished his career in the National Guard, serving 27 years. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. And before we jump into the questions, I'm going to level set, right, just so we are on the same page and kind of what the veteran population looks like here in Texas and then Texas's 23rd Congressional District. So, in the U.S., there are about 20 million veterans, and Texas has the second largest veteran population, second only to California. And we've got over 1.5 million veterans here in Texas. And when we looked at that number over our 29 million population, it's about 5% of our population that has served in the armed forces. And about 177 of those folks, almost 11%, are women. The majority of the veteran population here in Texas lives in just a handful of counties, and two of those are in Texas 23rd Congressional District, or at least parts of them. So Bexar County as well as El Paso County. And according to the American Community Survey in 2018, there are about 45,000 veterans in Texas's 23rd Congressional District, all 29 counties. So with that, just to clarify, the VSOs actually serve under the Texas Veterans Commission. So they do not work for the Veterans Administration, they work for the state. And their responsibility is to connect veterans and help with direct services, VA claims, education, and support to all eligible veterans, dependents, and their survivors. So again, day in, day out, these folks are helping veterans navigate the benefits process. And so no one better than these two to help answer your questions today. So the first question that came in, gentlemen, is related directly to COVID-19 testing. So wanted to hear how that is happening when the VA, how you're helping veterans navigate that. And has the VA been able to secure additional tests on behalf of veterans? And are there where can vets in South and West Texas get tested if they are possibly experiencing symptoms? And is there a cost to getting tested? Efren, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking the time and being here with us, joining us. Thanks, Gina, for having me here. On your question right now, as far as the Paso VA Medical Center, they do have an actual number that you can call if you want to get tested. As long as you can show the symptoms of fever, cough, and shortness of breath, there's a call number which you can call, which is 915-564-6100, and you select option 3 and then option 1, and that'll take you to a representative, an actual nurse from the triage line. They can go ahead and let you know, you tell them the symptoms you're going through, and they'll let you come in, what day you're going to come in. They'll take care of you. They'll look at your vitals and everything and go from there. Whether you have it or not, they'll proceed from there. But they are testing at the VA as long as you call ahead of time.
Lalo, have any veterans in Uvalde County or the surrounding counties reached out to you for help on getting tested as they think they may have symptoms of COVID-19?
Yeah, Gina, thank you for that question. That's a good question. Here in Uvalde, and the surrounding counties. I've had no calls from veterans that want to be tested. I did reach out to my patient advocate in Kerrville, the VA, and what she told me was, if you feel that you have the symptoms, just to call your primary care. They go over your symptoms, and then they will direct you where to get tested. That's the procedure.
Great. This is a large district. This is a district cumulatively larger than 30 states. And so, there's not a VA community clinic everywhere, nor a VA hospital. And so our community care providers really play a major role in providing vital medical services where the VA cannot. How have community care providers adjusted to the recent to COVID-19?
I'll take that one.
Well, here in El Paso, I've seen that the actual therapists, everybody providing services for veterans in the community, they're really good about actually getting in contact with the veteran and asking them if they're good with doing a telehealth. If they are, they go ahead and do the transaction right there. They do the changes and they go from there. The veteran doesn't have to do anything. The actual provider will actually call them to their phone and let them know about the services that they're providing through telehealth.
Lalo, did you want to add anything about community care providers in Uvalde County?
Well, here the only provider we have is the community clinic, our health, and the way they're working is you just go by like a drive-through, and they talk to you. Give you, if you need medications, they give it to the doctor. Then you get your medications, or if they need to see you, they'll see you. But mainly, everything's done by drive-through for these our health. As far as for what we experienced for VA, what I experienced for VA is they called me and they asked me if I wanted to do telehealth. I said, yes, I'll be more than happy to do telehealth. And it worked out good, even for my refills, everything. So they're reaching out to the veterans. They call the veterans, like Efren was saying, do you feel happy with telehealth? And if they do, they'll do it. If not, they will see you at the VA. That's what the patient advocate said. They're trying to the people going to the VA for that purpose of, we don't want to expose too many people.
Right.
But if you want to be seen at the VA with your doctor, actually in the office, they will take you if you feel happy with that. So that's how this was working over here.
I know, this being a very large district, one of the challenges that our veterans, especially our older veterans in our rural areas have is just the challenge of transportation getting to the care. So can you talk about how some of that transportation assistance has been affected by COVID-19?
For the rural over here in Uvalde, transportation has always been one of our number one issue problem that we have. And it's very difficult for our veterans, the senior veterans, the ones up in age that can't drive. I mean, right now, I don't know what they're doing. I haven't gotten no calls, so I guess they're still getting transportation from a family member or they're doing telehealth. I have no calls yet from veterans on issues like that.
Okay. And I know you're seeing folks from Fort Hancock, from Sierra Blanca. These are not a couple miles away, right? So has there been any change to the transportation assistance in the El Paso area?
You know what? Even like Lalo stated, I haven't gotten too many calls as far as for transportation necessities, but I know that the VA is working hard on actually mailing out all the medication that's needed, so the actual veterans don't have to go to expose themselves at the VA. So that's one thing that they're doing, and they're also doing the drive-by in front of the VA. That in case, like say an example, veterans that need medication for diabetes, that's a necessity. What they're doing is also drive-by through in front of the VA. They give them a call the day before. They'll have the medication listed, so by the time they drive up, they'll just hand it to them.
Okay. One of the questions we have gotten a lot actually is how has COVID-19 impacted the VA's ability to process claims? And I know you all spend a lot of your time helping veterans navigate that process, which in normal times can be cumbersome and take a lot of time. So has there been any delay in the VA processing claims during this time?
As far as in our area, I know that I have calls from veterans actually living out in San Antonio that have reached out to me. The reason why, because a lot of the organizations are shut down. They don't have the capacity or they don't have the instruments to work from home. A good thing about here in El Paso is that I'm one of the VSOs that is still open. I'm working from home, but I'm still taking claims. I'm still filing them. The only main thing that I'm looking for is as long as the veterans have electronically or the medical records, they send them to me. I can scan them, review them, make suggestions, and then go back and forth on the signatures. Because one thing that I want to put out that anybody filing a claim right now, they're taking any kind of signature. So it can be an electronic signature because they know that a lot of people don't have scanners, printers, or anything. So even just doing an electronic signature to file a claim, they'll accept it.
Okay. You raise a really important point though, Efren, which is people have to have soft copies or electronic copies of their medical records, which I know a lot of people do not, especially some of our older veterans. And even if they did, they may not, one, have a smartphone or a computer at home or even an internet connection at home. So how, and this is also for you, Lalo, how are you working with those veterans to process their claims?
Well, it just takes a little bit longer because they either have to fax them or mail them to me. And it just, hey, I fax it, sign it, they fax it back, and then it gets processed. And it just a little bit longer than normal. But everything's being worked out good. And, as far as VA, I did hear about one veteran doing a comp and pension exam through telemed. So I don't know. They're working.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to touch Gina on that Lalo stated, anybody actually having a CMP examination, they are going to do it through telehealth. There's no more face-to-face contact. So even if you have a schedule already CMP exams for this month and you're not going to see them in person, they're going to call you. So just be aware of that phone call that he's going to call you to make that CMP examination. That also goes through anybody filing a claim that has a notice of disagreement or anything like that. They're going to do the telehealth also. You don't have to go inside the VA to see the live conferences. You can do it on telehealth also.
Okay, that's a really important point. Can you say that one more time? And you're saying their annual exam is now being done via telehealth?
Not the annual exam. I'm talking about, let's say they have a notice of disagreement and it's coming up for their board to have an actual video conference.
Right.
They're just doing it through the phone instead of making them go to the VA.
Got it. I misunderstood. Okay, great. There's been a lot of confusion as the federal government tries to figure out who has to file a return in order to qualify for the stimulus check or receive the stimulus check. So this is, from a veteran that hasn't gotten their stimulus check yet, when can I expect to receive that? Do I need to file any paperwork to make sure the IRS has my information? So, for veterans who only rely on their pension or who only rely on their disability check, how are you helping those folks, navigate this process?
I know that's one of the hot topics right now that I know what's saying for that stimulus check, every veteran is supposed to get it. The thing is, you don't have to file. Let's say you're just getting compensation or that's all you're getting or pension. You don't have to do no paperwork. I just got an email that the only thing you have to do if you are getting compensation, you haven't filed for, let's say, the past 2 years. If you have kids that are under the age of 18, you might want to go to the irs.gov website, and there's another option that you click on it saying that you haven't filed, and you just list your actual dependents so you can get that extra money for the dependents. I think it's like $500 for every dependent under the age of 18. So that's the only thing you have to do. But as far as filing paperwork for it, it's going to be automatic. Unfortunately, there is no date of when it to be expected. The only thing that says going to take longer is in case you don't have direct deposit, then the checks that are going to be mailed out are going to be the last checks to take place. But everybody that has direct deposit or anything like that is going to be automatic to their account.
Okay. Great. Hopefully there hasn't been too much confusion. Lalo, has this been something that you're answering a lot of questions about as of late in Uvalde County?
No, the veterans here in Uvalde, I've had 2 phone calls. One of them was, am I supposed to get one? And I tell them, well, everybody's supposed to get one, is what I know of. And the other, I always direct them to the IRS website. I say, hey, just go to the IRS website, check it out, answer the question, and follow the procedure, and you should get your check.
Okay.
And it's just one thing that I want to follow up real quick. It's an important thing. I know that there's veterans out there that are living off of a pension. And as you all know, when you have a pension, it's dollar for dollar. So if you get this check, you don't have to report it because it's not going to be considered income. So it's not going to affect you in anything. And there's no, you don't have to pay it back or anything. So if you're getting pension, don't worry. You're still entitled to the money. You don't have to pay it back. You don't have to report it to VA because they won't be considered income.
Great. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, because the next question I was going to ask was related somewhat to that, which is, will the stimulus money I get count as income and lower my VA payments?
No, no.
Okay. Good. We're seeing, unfortunately, a lot of people that are now filing for unemployment. And so the next question is, are there specific resources for unemployed veterans that you know of that you can connect folks with?
Yes, here in El Paso, one thing that a lot of counties have, we go to Texas Veterans Commission, we ask for financial assistance grants. So we were, as far as in El Paso County, we have an actual grant of $300,000 that we got back in July. As of March, after the COVID happened, they gave us an additional $75,000 to help out any veteran that's going through a financial hardship. If you lose your job, you can't afford the rent, something's going on that, you're not going to be employed for quite some time. You're going to come out and see us and we can help you out. I know throughout the state of Texas, they gave out, I want to say about $800,000 to all the counties. As far as, let's say like for us, it got $300,000, you were entitled to 25% of whatever the grant was given to you. So for that's how we were entitled to the match, which is $75,000. So there is assistance out there. Just check with your local counties and contact your VSOs for further information, and they should tell you what the criteria is and how we can assist you.
Oh, that's great. That's really helpful. I know you all serve a range of veterans, right? Not just some of our older folks, but also our younger veterans that might be utilizing their GI Bill at this time, or maybe they actually have kids that are utilizing their GI Bill. So one of the questions was, how has COVID-19 and moving to distance learning impacted their ability to use these GI benefits?
I have no questions on that one. I usually refer those to my education officer at the junior college, and he takes care of all those issues. Veterans haven't called me with no questions as far as, am I going to lose my GI Bill or not? So I couldn't answer that. I refer them to the expert on that one, which is the education officer.
So you're saying that veterans, if they have a question on that, they should contact somebody at their university. Okay.
University, or we can usually give them the number to the TVC education officer, the specialist. She's based out of Austin for our region.
Okay.
We give them the number and they make contact with them and they take care of all their issues. They answer all the questions. Okay.
We talked a lot about the VA moving a lot of their care to telehealth. And again, I'm getting my own physical therapy through telehealth. But I know this can be a challenge, right, in many parts of South and West Texas where the broadband isn't strong enough. And so, can you talk a little bit about what you are hearing from some of our veterans that need that care but are finding telehealth to be a challenge?
I've had a couple of calls of veterans actually struggling because they don't have the technology, they don't have the new phones available, they don't have a computer. So as Lalo stated earlier, also our VA, also if you need to see somebody at the VA, they'll take you, but it has to be like an emergency for them to see you. They're doing it for the safety of the veteran, the safety of the actual employees. But like I said, telehealth, unfortunately, that's pretty much the only resort they have as of now. But like I said, hopefully pretty soon they'll start making the appointments one-on-one. But the VA from El Paso, what they want to see is the actual veterans that are really really struggling, that really have a really emergency real bad. That's what they want to see. Go up to the VA and still continue seeing the treatment.
Okay. One of the resources that we know is critical for veterans and for their families is mental health. Can you talk about some of the mental health resources that are available during this time for veterans?
The mental health is still open. You just got to call them. A lot of them are done over the phone through telehealth, or they still go to one-on-one counseling because that's the need of the veterans. So, I got veterans that are still going to their teams. So I have no issue, no calls from veterans saying, hey, I can't go see my doctor or nothing. So I think it's still going on. Those are ones that have really priority, the mental health, our veterans.
That's the same for our district, as Lalo was saying. Like for the vet center, the actual The VA mental health, they're still taking appointments. They're still seeing the veterans. We got other resources in case, like in the Paso region, if you can't make it to the VA, they also got the actual telehealth through Emergence, through MVPN. They also have Family Endeavor. So there's a lot of options out there for mental health that are still open.
Okay. Lalo, when you and I were talking, you talked about the experience that you had with a veteran and just the very simple process of trying to get a prescription filled. And for many folks, in order to do that, they need to have the appointment, right, to get the prescription filled. And so we've got a question that is the exact same scenario. So how did you, and also Efren, how are you working with those folks, right, that need that appointment, consultation, right, in order to get their prescriptions filled? What's the process for folks now?
Well, as far as the prescription getting refilled, I use the e-benefits and I do my refills through online. And if I do not have a refill where I need to go do my annual, this is what happened. I needed to do my annual exam in order for them to refill my prescription. I had run out. And well, this thing happened, so I couldn't go see the doctor. So I ran out of medications. So I called my doctor and said, hey, I ran out. I can't see you. Refill my prescription. Right away, they said, no problem. We're going to refill them. You don't have to come in for the appointment because of all this. And they refilled it for 90 days. So, I mean, it's real simple. The veteran that I had called me. He was running out of medications. He says, my doctor doesn't want to see me and I need the refills, and the prescription doesn't want to get filled because I need to see the doctor. I mean, one quick call to the patient advocate at the VA took care of it, and he got his medications ASAP, and everybody was taken care of. So a lot of times the doctor and the pharmacy is not talking. So, and we just need one person in the middle to put them all together in the same line, and everything gets done. What the VA is saying is the veteran comes first. If the veteran needs medication, they're going to give it to him. Of course, they're not going to give him something that's strong or whatever, some narcotic drug, but they'll give him his regular medication, like if he's diabetic or he's asthmatic or he needs insulin or something like that, that he's been taking for years. They're going to give it to him. That's what they're doing.
Efren, for our veterans in West Texas and El Paso, how are you? Is this a similar challenge? How are you addressing it?
Yes, I even have an actual, I know the William Army Medical Center, the one that we have here in Fort Bliss, they're actually filling out prescription within 4 hours. If you drop it off within 4 hours, your medication is refilled and they're giving back to you. If there is actual prescription that is a controlled substance, in order to get those, you have to call the 915-742-2273 to schedule an actual telephone consultant, and they'll go ahead and refill those also. But like I said, they're doing it real quick to get the veterans in and out.
Great. So the VA recently announced that they're going to be assisting those with pending debts or claims and appeals. So what specific changes are y'all aware of that the VA has made in terms of financial relief for veterans? I know you talked about at the state and how that's being administered at the county level, but are you also hearing about some of the federal assistance that you might see that might be helpful?
Well, as far as the debt, like if the veteran has a debt with the VA, that is stopped. He's not supposed to pay that. Once all this is over, he'll start paying again. Right now, during this time, he doesn't have to pay that debt. That's what I heard about the VA debts. Like
so, Lalo, is that something that that the veteran has to call and request happen, or is that automatically happening?
According to what I read in the email, I think that's automatic. They automatically stop it because that's what I read on the email that I got. Okay. All debts stop until this is over. Then it'll start again. Okay. So it's like a car payment. I mean, I got my letter. I got a call or for my car note. Hey, the next 30, 90 days, you don't have to pay. Because of that. It's the same thing with the VA. You don't have to pay for 90 days. So it's up.
Okay. The local. This is kind of the last question that we've got, and then I want to leave it open to you all if you want to have any closing remarks for our veterans and our veterans listening. But so local organizations and government agencies play a large role in providing direct services to Texas veterans and their families. Many of these groups depend on grants from the Texas Veterans Commission. So how should these organizations go about applying for grant money during this pandemic? And have there been new grants made available?
Actually, let me just touch a little bit on the actual grant. What happens that they open the grant every August of every year, and it's open to October. So any organization looking to file this coming year, you have from August to October to actually prepare your grant, apply for. There's a lot of grants that you can apply for. I know that one of the biggest topics that actual counties are not applying for, and especially the West Texas region, is the mental health grant. I know for my capacity in my office, since we're VSOs, we don't have the capacity to actually provide mental health, but that's one of the biggest grants that's going on. The one that we got, and it's an actual financial assistance, a general assistance grant. And the great thing about TVC is that when you apply for a grant, they give you the option to actually, you set your rules on how you're going to assist, what the criteria is, and who you're going to serve. Just to give you a little bit brief on ours, we serve veterans, active duty, surviving spouses, dependents. So we pretty much help out anybody as long as they can prove to us they're going through a hardship. That's one of the biggest things that we're looking for, and especially with this going on, I mean, the hardship, that's a hardship right there. So as long as you can show us that it's affecting you in a financial way, we can go ahead and assist you.
Great. Lalo, do you have something to add to that? Are there, for entities in the Uvalde County or surrounding counties that traditionally apply for those grants?
As grants being out here to Uvalde or surrounding counties, it's very difficult for these small counties to get that TVC grant. Mm-hmm. It's a reimbursement grant, what it is. So the counties have to come up with the money first, and then the VA will start reimbursing it. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard. We rely mainly on Family Endeavors and all these other organizations that get grants from TVC, and we support them by sure the veterans know they're out there serving veterans.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to shed light on what you're dealing with and how you're continuing to serve as our veterans all throughout South and West Texas. What you do is invaluable for our communities. And I wanted to give you just 30 seconds apiece if you wanted to highlight any kind of closing comments that you had for folks.
Well, I want to thank you, Gina, for inviting me for this first time virtual. Hope we can do some more. I want to encourage every veteran out there just to stay focused, stay safe, and reach out to your VSOs, and just keep in contact with the VSOs is very important for any changes that you have, especially, come and talk to the VSOs because everything's changing. We got the blue water that's out there that a lot of veterans, I'm seeing some great results. I've got 2 good results from Navy veterans for blue water here in Uvalde County, and I know there's more out there. So just reach out to the fellow veterans and tell them that we're here and we're here to serve them and we're here to, support them in every which way we can. So, and just stay safe.
Lalo, you have a captive audience, so that change in the blue water piece is so important. So, can you just elaborate on what that benefit is now for survivors and how they would go about applying for it?
A lot of people think it's just for the veterans. If your spouse was a Navy veteran and he passed away due to diabetes, a heart attack, ischemic heart disease, coronary heart disease, you as a surviving spouse are entitled to veterans benefits too. So it's just the veteran, it's the spouse too, if she's still survive, if she's still alive. So we need to, there's a lot of information out there. So, and I encourage veterans just to, hey, you know what, reach out, find out who your VSO is and talk to them and tell them, hey, I'm a veteran, I'm a spouse of a veteran, and do I get any benefits? And that's how it starts. Just by knowing who your VSO is. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Lalo. Efren, did you have any closing comments for folks? Oh, it's muted. I think you're muted. Perfect.
It would help if I unmuted, right? Well, first of all, Gina, I want to thank you for taking the time and inviting us to this meeting. I know there's a lot of information out there that we don't know. unless we talk to each other and communicate through this telehealth right now. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of assistance, as Lalo was saying, for veterans, active duty, surviving spouses. Come out and see us, especially in El Paso, this Western region. If you have any questions, I encourage you to go to our website, which is El Paso County, epcounty.com. Come out and see us at the Veteran Assistance Office. Like I said, we got a lot of financial assistance. There's as of now, there's 3 in my office now. There's Carl Dwyer, myself, and Julio Martin del Campo. All 3 of us are doing a great effort to actually help out any brother and sister out there. So you need help out there, you need something, your county doesn't have a VSO, reach out to Lalo, reach out to myself. We'll take you from anywhere. It doesn't matter. As long as you're in Texas, we're certified to do it, so we can be your advocate. Anything we can provide for your information, everything's on the website. So whatever I can do for you guys, feel free to call me, email me, everything I can do. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And that's a key point. Some folks live in a county where they don't have a full-time VSO. And so you heard that Lalo and Efren are able to serve you regardless of where you live in Texas and regardless of where you live in this district. So gentlemen, thank you again. And you know what this COVID-19 has shown us is, yes, we can be quite adaptable, right? And move to telehealth and whatnot. But for so many communities, especially our rural communities, especially our older veterans living in our rural communities, some of these changes not been as easy. So, I think as we are trying to adapt now and be as flexible as we can be, I think it also highlights just the need for, really strong advocates in Congress that are going to fight for the changes so that we don't leave anybody behind, especially veterans that have done so much to serve our country. So thank you all. Really appreciate you joining us again. And as always, this is going to be captioned in Spanish, and it'll be available on our Facebook page tomorrow. And so, please share this with others and other veterans that you think might find this of value. And I hope you all stay safe and healthy again, and we will see you next week. Take care.